The One Chicago franchise gets major casting update following surprise Chicago Fire departures. Good news comes to those who wait. And today it's time for that patience to pay off for fans of NBC's Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med, as Deadline reveals that the main cast have officially signed their contracts for their respective upcoming seasons. Those at home can finally take a deep sigh of relief, knowing that Taylor Kinney, Miranda Ray Mayo, and Dermot Mulroney will return to put out more blazes in Chicago Fire, while Empatha Merkerson and Oliver Paul will continue to save lives at Gaffney Chicago Medical Center in Chicago Med, and Jason Bade will put on his boots and patrol the streets once again in Chicago PD. The news will come as a huge comfort, specifically to diehards of Chicago Fire, who have already seen plenty of upset after it was announced that series staples Daniel Keary and Jake Lockett, who appeared as Darren Ritter and Sam Carver, respectively, wouldn't be returning for the show's 14th season. Contracts were up for Kinney and Mayo, who both joined the series in its 4th season, while newcomer Mulroney only signed a 1-year deal for season 13. But now, fans can wipe the sweat from their brows and know that, at least for now, the trio is safe. The best is yet to come for the One Chicago franchise. There's a lot of good to look forward to for the characters played by the 6 aforementioned actors, as each of them rounded out their seasons on a high note. For Kinney's Kelly Severide and Mayo's Stella Kidd, the future is looking incredibly bright after they received a positive pregnancy test in the season 13 finale. And yet, no one is ever fully safe on our beloved procedurals. Just look at what 9-1-1 did to Peter Cross's Bobby Nash to up the stakes. When it comes to Chicago Fire, its showrunner, Andrea Newman, recently teased, "We're going to have a lot of turnover and a lot craziness going on in the CFD from the top, where people are being cut and moved, and everything's going to get shaken up next season." That shakeup could very well be art imitating life, as budget cuts have forced each of the shows to make difficult cost-cutting decisions. In the fall, audiences can expect to walk into a 21-episode season for each of the titles, but don't expect to see your favorites in every installment, as there's a good chance that they'll sit out at least 1 week due to financial restraints. In a dramatic twist worthy of its own season finale, the One Chicago universe has just been rocked by a casting update that's sending shockwaves through fans of Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med. Following the unexpected departures of 2 beloved characters from Chicago Fire, the franchise is undergoing a significant reshuffle, and fans are already buzzing about what's next. Late last month, viewers were blindsided as both Joe Cruz, played by Joe Manoso, and Violet McCamey, played by Hanako Greensmith, made their emotional exits from Chicago Fire. Cruz's departure came after a gut-wrenching storyline involving his younger brother Leon, who has been battling PTSD following a near-fatal undercover operation. In a powerful final moment, Cruz made the decision to relocate his family to a quieter life outside of Chicago, handing in his resignation to Chief Bowden with a tearful goodbye at Engine 51. Meanwhile, Violet's farewell was equally poignant. After a season of growth, trauma, and new beginnings, she announced she was accepting a leadership position in New York City, seeking to spread her wings beyond the firehouse and honor the legacy of her late partner, Avon Hawkins. But in true One Chicago fashion, the departures aren't just endings. They're making way for intriguing new beginnings. NBC and Wolf Entertainment have just confirmed a trio of new actors joining the franchise in key roles, with one addition that has all 3 shows overlapping in a way fans haven't seen since the early crossovers. Stepping into the Chicago Fire spotlight is rising actor Elias Kostiva, a former Marine-turned-paramedic whose character, Jack Sereno, joins Ambulance 61 as Violet's replacement. Described as disciplined, reserved, and carrying a mysterious past, Jack arrives on his first day with little fanfare, but it won't take long before his reputation as a hero precedes him. His backstory. Rumor has it he's connected to a dark moment from Severide's past. The Chicago PD team is Tanya Raymond, best known for her roles on Lost and Goliath, as Detective Layla Navarro, a tenacious, by-the-book homicide investigator with a history in internal affairs. Navarro is being brought in to fill the void left by Ruzek's temporary medical leave, and her dynamic with Officer Kim Burgess is already being teased as electric but cautious. Insiders say Navarro may have been investigating Voight's team from afar, but now she's joining them directly, raising questions about loyalty, justice, and whether the intelligence unit is truly untouchable. Meanwhile, Chicago Med gets an infusion of charm and chaos with the arrival of Jordan Fisher, cast as Dr. Cameron Keyes, a brilliant but unconventional trauma surgeon from Atlanta. With an infectious personality and a penchant for breaking protocol to save lives, Dr. Keyes is expected to ruffle feathers, especially with Dr. Crockett Marcel, whose no-nonsense attitude might clash with Cameron's rule-bending antics. Executive producer Diane Frolov teased that Cameron will push boundaries and challenge hospital hierarchy in ways that shake the foundation of Gaffney Chicago Medical. But the biggest shock: all three newcomers will be introduced in a massive 3-episode One Chicago crossover event titled Thin Blue Line, Red Hot Fire, and Code Green. Premiering this fall, the special will see Chicago's emergency services tested like never before when a coordinated cyber attack cripples the city's infrastructure, triggering a wave of accidents, power outages, and chaos. Jack Serrano's military training becomes crucial when firehouses are cut off from dispatch. Dr. Keyes is forced to operate under extreme field conditions, and Detective Navarro must coordinate with federal agents as Chicago PD finds itself a target in a wider conspiracy. The crossover will also mark the return of several fan-favorite guest stars, including Yaya DaCosta's April Sexton, Jess Spencer's Captain Matthew Casey, and a surprise cameo from Leroyce Hawkins' Kevin Atwater, whose fate has been uncertain following a deadly shootout in the Chicago PD finale. Sources hint that Navarro's arrival may be tied directly to the investigation into Atwater's case, suggesting his life may be hanging in the balance. Behind the scenes, co-creator Dick Wolf has reassured fans that the soul of One Chicago remains intact. "This franchise has always been about evolution," he said in a statement. "Characters leave, others rise. We're telling stories that reflect the real challenges of public service, the emotional toll, and the heroic choices made every day." The new faces aren't replacements. They're the next generation of Chicago heroes. While fans may still be grieving the loss of Violet and Cruz, early screeners of the first 2 episodes of the upcoming season suggest that the transitions are handled with grace, including a moving tribute at Firehouse 51 for Cruz, complete with flashbacks, a final family dinner, and a heartfelt monologue from Mouch. Violet's goodbye is marked by her signature wit and an emotional send-off from Sylvie Brett, who delivers a gift box filled with memories from their ambulance shifts together. Social media has already exploded with theories, fan art, and emotional reactions to the casting news. One popular tweet reads, "Jack Serrano is giving serious Severide energy. If he and Stella ever end up on a rescue together, I will combust." Another fan posted, "Layla Navarro's glare is so intense, Voight might finally sweat. Bring it on." With the fall season just around the corner, the One Chicago franchise seems primed to enter a bold new era. The departures may sting, but if there's one thing fans of Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD know for certain, This city never sleeps, never quits, and never stops saving lives.